Hello, members of UAW Local 1166. This is my second video, and I hope I answer all the questions that the membership sent through the Education Committee. First of all, I'd like to touch base on an appreciation by the plant manager and human resources for the people who participated through the drive-through to get the return to work packets. It was a big turnout. Tuesday we had 604, and we're still not done today, so I look for that number to increase more, probably 800 to 900 people going through there. So again, it was a big turnout, and kind of shocked me. Also, at the robocall that the plant manager, Jerry Scomp, had put out about return to work, originally, as these things always do, they change from day to day, from the 4th to the 11th. Tentatively, they want to bring some people back on the 11th, which will probably be mostly trades to get more stuff prepped, maybe some early startup. A group of people on the 18th, and again on the 26th, being that Memorial Day is on the 25th. So look for those phone calls. Right now, as I stated before, they're going to probably do the 8-speed and the engine blocks. So look for those phone calls. Again, this has been flipped to a temporary layoff. If your credits haven't been restored, please get with the union officials so we can get those fixed. Without anything further to do, I will lead into the questions. The first question: if you received an overpayment of sub-benefits, can you reimburse the company with a lump sum payment? The answer to that is no. They got direct deduction from your paycheck, and without a better way of saying it, it kind of leaves a paper trail that they can follow, so they will not accept a lump sum payment. Number two, if you decline the return to work opportunity and remain on temporary layoff, will that change the amount of unemployment you receive? Again, no. That is in the contract with the temporary layoff. They go down the list, and if you decline to work, they're going to get somebody to fill that position anyways, so that does not change that at all. How are they going, number three, how are they going to address prescription glasses that fog up? Again, that's a major concern because they've been working on trying to figure out a way to get the safety glasses not to fog up, and we still have not identified a way to make that happen. If you have any suggestions out there, please let me know so I can pass those on and we can get this fixed before we do return. Number four, do vendors have to follow the same procedures as everyone else? Everybody that comes onto the property, the hot metal trucks, any kind of vendors that are delivering supplies or whatnot, they all have to follow the procedures at the gate. Their temperature will be checked, and they will have to fill out the questionnaire as well. And this will all be verified by either security or it will be a member of management to verify that. Number five, have vacations been approved, and if so, how will we get notified of our choices? Again, I contacted Labor Relations. Again, they don't approve vacations, so you will have to get with your supervisor to see if your vacation has been approved and whether it is the first choice or the second choice. If you have any problems with that, please let us know and we will get with them ourselves and get those verified. Number six, once we start reporting to work, will team assignments be implemented or will be assigned work by seniority? Depends on what area you work in. So if you get called back based on your seniority by the department. If you do return to work and if they're running engine blocks or 8 speeds, of course, if you're familiar with that area, they're going to get you your job assignment. I mean, that's the way it should be. If you do come back by seniority, you're not familiar with that area, they're going to do the best that they can to put you in a position where it's easier to get assistance from either the team leader or the troubleshooter. Again, any of those concerns that come up, we will address them as needed. Number seven, how will face masks be issued once we return to work? If you didn't go through the return to work and receive the package, the 2 face masks are in the package. Once you do return to work, your supervisor or somebody from management will issue you 2 masks. My suggestion to you is to bring a Ziploc bag to put your second mask in, because the first mask you'll be wearing. Number 8, will we still receive our PAs and vacation time the week of May the 4th, 2020? Yes, you will still receive your eligible PILV, PAs, and vacation the week of May the 4th. Number 9, will returning to work at first be voluntary or will it be forced by seniority? Again, it will go by seniority by department. And if they do not achieve enough people to return to work, and then it goes forced from the bottom up. Number 10, since they are only running 2 shifts, will we have the option to remain on temporary layoff if called back to work? I don't know where the 2 shifts came from. That's something that 685 over at KTP is kicking around right now. So the option to remain on temporary layoff, you still have that once they canvass you if you want to remain on temporary layoff. Number 11, will we be going back to the same job assignment we had prior to the layoff? Again, if they do a temporary layoff and they do seniority by department, the only way you can get back to their previous job is if you have the seniority to maintain that position, or if there's people under you that they call in at a later time, they go and do that job that you do, you have that right for a rotation or a shift preference to get to your job. Number 12, will we get a choice to what shift we could work since they are only working 2 shifts, or do we stick by our shift that we were on before the layoff? Again, we don't have anything to do with the 2 shift thing. I think if they're gonna do it, they know as well as we do that it would behoove them to run 24 hours and not just 16. As far as stick by the shift that we were on before the layoff, again, it goes by your seniority. So if the seniority will get you the shift you're on, then that's the shift you will get to. Number 13, where are the inside trim operators supposed to break once rate is achieved? That's a good question, and I really do not want to address that with management because that could deter them from keeping you from maintaining your rate in a 4-hour period or 5 hours, however long it takes to get. I don't want it to get to the point where they're going to make you do 1 hour and switch off and do all this other stuff. So those are questions we will bring up once we get in there. I would rather not touch that right now. Number 14, will 9-speed still be 2 operators per cell? Yes, they will be. That's why we have the mask with the social distancing. If you're within 6 feet, that's what the masks are for. Number 15, I have 2 vacation days coming to me in May. What date do I claim that day for unemployment and how much do I claim? If you have 2 vacation days, those are going to be paid out on May the 8th. I don't know, it'd be that week of May the 8th that you claim it out. And I don't know how much you claim because I don't know what your base rate is. You take your base rate is times 16 hours and that'll get you what that you claim for unemployment. Number 16, skilled trades. Will they be able to get a face shield and more than 2 masks? Yes, skilled trades will, business as usual. If you need a face shield, one will be supplied. If you need more than 1 mask, 2 masks, 3 masks because of the work that you do and it gets dirty, management will issue you a mask as needed. Number 17, I have a chronic cough. Do I answer yes on the questionnaire? No, you do not. If you have a chronic cough or a smoker's cough or whatever kind of cough that you know for sure has nothing to do with the coronavirus, don't answer yes. There are people in there who have the chronic cough that we don't want this to where it keeps you out of work. Just follow the questionnaire. If you have any questions on anything, especially if you have one of the questions about diarrhea, if you have the diarrhea, use common sense. You went to Taco Bell and you had tacos, you got diarrhea, it's probably not because of the coronavirus. So just use common sense. If you have any questions, you can also contact us or you can contact Labor Relations. 18, is anything going to be done to help cool down the plant? Right now, we were in contract negotiations to try to get work on tempered air to cool the, well, not really cool it, but not as hot out in the new building. So those talks were cut off, of course, because of the pandemic. Once again, when we get back, hopefully we'll resume those conversations. But as of now, there is nothing that they can do to cool down the plant than what we have in the past. Again, with the mask, we will have those conversations. If you're running one die-cast machine and the person beside you is running one, it definitely shows that there is greater than a 6 feet difference. So those talks will be forthcoming. We've brought the issue up a couple of times, and we need to address it a little bit more, because if you're a die-cast machine, you're running a machine, you shouldn't have to have your mask on, unless you're talking to somebody, and you know how noisy it is in there, that some people may approach you, that both of you will have to have your mask on. So again, we're going to have those conversations. We will continue, and hopefully we'll get that rectified before people return to work. Number 19, if someone misses a day because of answering yes to a question on the questionnaire, what is the procedure or process to return to work? Again, so when you fill out those questionnaires, make sure you do it truthfully and honestly. If you have any questions at all, you need to contact either a union official or labor relations to clarify. If you miss a day, if you answered yes and you miss a day, you need to call the normal call-in procedure at least 30 minutes prior to the start of the shift and report that. If you do answer yes, nurse or labor relations will contact you at home, and they will go through that questionnaire and either clear you to return to work or keep you off. Number 20, what does visiting another state in the last 14 days have to do with anything? If we do visit another state, will we be forced to stay home? Again, with the travel restrictions in some places, and by the time we get toward the end of May, hopefully most of these will be lifted. And what that means is, if you're going if you're going fishing on a lake and it's just you and your family, that really doesn't apply. But if you're going to, let's just say, Detroit, Michigan, to a Kid Rock concert where you're going to be around a lot of people, then yes, that does apply. So just use common sense with it. If you're going to travel out of state, if you're going to be in a large group of people, then you need to follow the procedures as outlined in the questionnaire. Number 21, if we are forced to stay home, do we get full pay, or is it sick leave? Does it need to be approved through Sedgwick for FMLA? The only way you are forced to stay home is if, number one, you fill out the questionnaire, you answer yes, and then the nurse calls you and they verify that. And then at that time, you would assume sick leave. If you answer yes and they clear you to come in the next day, you are not going to get paid for that day that you stayed home after answering yes. And as far as sick leave, if you know that you need to be quarantined or whatever the case is, you have to follow the procedures that as outlined by Sedgwick for the sick leave claim, and you got to contact your physician. Number 22, when your allotment of 2020-2021 vacation PAA days take effect May the 4th, 2020, do you report that as income? When you get your new allotment of PAA days and vacation days on May the 4th, the only way you report that as income is if you take that money out. So my advice to you is do not mess with your PAA or your vacation income that you get on May the 4th. Leave it in there, don't touch it. If you bring it out, you're gonna have to report it as income. Right now, there's no need to do that. 23, how can the company take their money back for sub when it was negotiated and is in the contract? So there's a lot of questions when it comes to the sub, the unemployment, and the additional $600 from the federal. If you're getting $390 or whatever the case is from the state for the SSB, you get $600 from the federal that was issued to the state to help with the unemployment. And if you was to tack on sub 2, that would take you to $1,400, $1,500 or whatever. It would be crazy for anybody to return to work when you're making that much money, which is almost double what you would make when you're on a 40-hour check for some people. So again, the question is, how can they take their money back from sub? This has been issued out as contractual. Sub is a supplement. It's a supplement to your income. When you get unemployment $390, sub is to take place of, subtract the $390, it's about 74% of your income that you would normally make in there. You take the $390 and whatever that it works out to be, that's what you get from the sub. But again, if you get overpaid, the $600, and I understand the $600 is from federal. The federal $600 issued to the state was to tack onto that $390. So the sub is only for the supplement, as I said, for the normal 40-hour week of pay, which is 74%. If you get all three of those together, it's well above what you would normally make. So it's outlined in the contract. Sub is, like I said, it's a supplement. If you're making $9.90 or whatever the case is, that's well more than what you would make on a 40-hour week. Number 24, does sub pay come from FCA and labeled as such in bank deposit, or is it filtered through the unemployment and benefits still labeled as SSB state if Indiana unemployment insurance? Sub does come from FCA, but it's set aside in a different account. They pour money into that sub for layoffs. So that's where that comes from. And I think if you get a deposit from FCA, if you look on your deposit on your check, it says sub on there. It has nothing to do with the unemployment and deposits labeled as SSB from the state. Number 25, does being on layoff now, indefinite or temporary, reduce the qualifying required hours worked for the 2020-2021 vacation eligible year? No, it does not, unless you include sick leave, if you're on sick leave a long time. The guidelines for that, as far as the contract, you had to work 26 weeks or more to get the 100% of the pay for vacation. Anything less than that, any week less than that, if you were on sick leave, you need to go in there and add up do your math on that. Every week for the pay eligibility, it drops 4%. So 26 weeks or more, you get 100%. You go down to 25 weeks, you get 96%, and then it drops down from there. So you need to go in there and check your employment history, add up how many days you were on sick leave. If you weren't on sick leave and it just pertains to this layoff, you're good to go. You've achieved more than 26 weeks. 26, does being on a layoff now reduce the qualifying required hours worked for FMLA recertification? FMLA is not a union function. I'd rather not answer that. If you have any questions with FMLA, you need to contact Sedgwick and they will guide you through. Will there be someone at the gates checking temperatures? That was 27. So right now we have the strips coming from corporate that you put on your forehead that will give you the temperature, at least a reading of, you have to leave it on there for 15 minutes. There are infrared temperature gauges coming to the plant. They're on order. We're just waiting on them to get shipped. And then once they get shipped, our trades will install them. So those will be in process at the turnstiles. So right now we have to utilize what they provide us until those do come in. 28, will employees be solicited for return to work by seniority by department and a personal phone call? Again, it will go seniority by department, and it will not be a robocall, it will be a phone call from it should be from your boss with the union official present. Number 29, if you choose to return to work, you will receive a call personally. Yes, you will receive a call personally. You can't do a robocall and do a canvas. There's no way of answering a robocall. Number 30, are team leaders and team members in their department separated out on callbacks? Again, the team leaders and team members fall under one department. So when you do a canvas to call people back to come in Department 1100, for instance, it will go by everybody in that department. It doesn't go down by classification. It goes by seniority by department. So if you're a team leader within that structure, they will call you based on your seniority. If there's already a team leader present, you will be a team member at that time until we get everybody back to work and we can, return to business as usual. So if you have any other further questions, please get with the Education Committee and they will give me a list of the questions that need answered. And again, we need everybody to answer the questionnaires as honestly as possible and use common sense. The chronic cough, the diarrhea, those kind of instances, if you're going on fishing, obviously you traveled out of state, but I think by the time that comes, hopefully the travel ban will be lifted and it'll be back to business as usual. But again, look for them not to run everything in the plant. So right now, the 8-speeds and the die-cast machine, or definitely, if we have any components or any of those support departments, will definitely be in there. But I don't look for 9-speed, to start up because there's really not a need for that right now. They're really going after the critical issues that they need to address. So there may be some people out there that may be off a lot longer than they intended. And then also keep in mind that the additional $600, if it does not run out before then, is I believe the week of July the 20th is when that ends. So keep those in mind. Again, if they call you, we would prefer them to do it by a 2 or 3 week callback. Again, if they canvass you and say, hey, we're gonna do this for 2 or 3 weeks, are you interested? Yes, no, however it is. But if you do decline that work, again, remember, this is not going to affect your unemployment because our contract is laid out the way it is. Somebody will take your place, so they're not going to force, I ain't gonna say they ain't gonna force anybody in there, but if they force you in there and you decline, that's where that comes into play. So again, I appreciate your time. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of the Education Committee, myself, or call Ron DeWeese at the hall. Thank you.